Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys, welcome back to our show. Super delighted today to have Amy Shick on here with us. And what we're going to talk about is, besides her journey in business and in real estate, we're going to talk about why it's important to get into the game and build a lifestyle around it. Really dive into it. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business. We do that by providing the community and the tools to grow the business you want, which helps you live the life you want. So, Amy, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, John. I'm really excited to be here and talk about real estate.
One guest one time told me that he loves what he does so much he gets paid to eat ice cream. I get paid to eat ice cream. I talk real estate all day. So thank you for coming on and sharing with us. And I'm excited to talk about our topic about getting into the game, right? I think a lot of people just spend that time in analysis paralysis and maybe just are maybe afraid to take the leap, but it's how important it is. But before we talk about that, let's talk about you. What is your tell us about your background in real estate, what all got you to today?
Yeah. So, my grandmother was a realtor and had several properties around the San Francisco Bay Area. So there would be times that I would go with her to either show a property or to look at a problem that needed to be fixed or something. So I kind of got the bug then. Fast forward in life, I became a paralegal, was working in San Francisco, had our first baby, and my husband decided it's 2003 and I want to go back into the military. So then at the time I was pregnant with my second baby. And so we moved so that he could, start an Army career. Mm-hmm. And I found myself without a job and 2 babies to take care of. And
wow.
And he was deployed, right? So what are we going to do? So I bought a house and worked on it while he was deployed. And then when he came home from his deployment, we moved. And that was when I, called my grandmother. And it wasn't like, I'm going to be a real estate entrepreneur. It didn't happen like that at all.
Right.
It was, what do we do with this house?
Built out of necessity is where it came from. Yeah.
Exactly. So my grandmother said, you should keep it. And this is why, and keep it for 20 plus years. Do not sell this house. If you're not going to keep it for 20 years, sell it now. And that was the advice. So we turned it into a rental. That was the first one. And we hired a property manager because we didn't know what we were doing.
Sure.
And we were, moving to Germany. And so I kind of felt like, a 9-hour time difference might be kind of difficult.
International landlord. I think that's first I've hered here. Well, no, actually I've heard it before, but.
So at first we weren't making any money off that property. We were actually losing about $150 a month. but I knew that eventually rents were going to come up.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And, the rent would be more than the mortgage.
Sure.
And I look back at it now. I mean, that was in, 2006 when we turned it into a rental. And I look back at it now and I think, oh my gosh, a $998 a month mortgage. Right? But at the time,
Those were the days.
right? The good old days.
Yeah.
So then once we moved back to the US, I really had the bug and we bought another house and fixed it up while we lived in it. That's kind of my job while he was working.
Okay.
And then we bought another little fixer-upper we were fixing just to rent. We didn't live in it. Yes, I used my children as labor and I paid them with Sonic slushies. And then
Hey, best labor you can get, man. They give you hugs. They give you hugs at the end of the day.
Exactly. So they helped out, and then we just acquired properties with each time we moved. Oftentimes buying them as our primary residence, and then turning them into a rental when we left, which was a year to 2 years later.
Right.
So we just did that as we bounced around with military. So that's how I got started.
What were some of the hard parts about doing all this managing remotely? I mean, you had to at least have a good team maybe in place in town or in person, right?
Well, so that's actually kind of interesting that you bring that up because as a military spouse, we move to a place and then very quickly assimilate and get to know people. So as I was working on the property that we were living in, that's when I was meeting and hiring electricians and plumbers and handymen. So when we left and turned it into a rental, I already had my little network of, service providers for that property. So, and now I manage our properties from afar. We've got one here locally in Washington, and then we now have 2 in Florida. So we've consolidated and sold our Georgia properties and a Washington property to consolidate and buy other properties.
Okay, cool. I love the story, about your grandmother taking you to, or you going to listings and stuff with her. One of my most favorite questions to ask people usually at the beginning is, where did you get the bug? I probably got like 60% of people like, oh, that purple book. But some people say they have that influence. It looks like you did. Where did you get the knowledge to do all the repairs, to get in there, get your hands dirty? I mean, it's not something everybody knows how to do.
My parents are big time DIYers.
Got it.
They were also in real estate. And when you have 4 kids, you typically buy not so great properties and then put sweat equity in them. And then my husband and I's very first property that we bought, because it was like, I'm pregnant, we need to buy. And we bought this condo that was like a 20-year-old rental. And piece by piece, my mom and dad taught us how to tile, how to redo the floors, paint. I mean, painting I already kind of knew. And then my husband does, some plumbing and electrical that my dad has taught him just throughout the years. And my husband is a huge YouTuber. So he will find something on YouTube and then learn how to do it and then fix it. I mean, he does the same thing with our Toyotas. He fixes everything on them.
He's a handy guy, and that's a good thing to have around the house, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, this weekend, he's going to fix a fence and a bathroom fan.
And I don't think many people tell you this, but thank you for your service. People tell the active ones, but I mean, they don't know the behind the scenes. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, I support, I don't serve. I don't think the Army would want me. I don't follow directions. So,
You're one of those rogues, aren't you? You go off the reservation. You go off the reservation a lot, don't you?
I definitely move at my own beat. That's
I
for sure.
love it. So what does you guys' business look like today? I mean, I know you say you have some rentals, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And so they're long-term. I call us like a boutique investor. They're long-term rentals.
Mhm.
I manage them myself. I use just online tools like Zillow and apartments.com to manage them. And then I have a bookkeeper that helps me at the
Okay.
end of the year because it's a lot. And then I am a lender. So I do residential lending. That's my day job. And then, the property management side, I just, I just do it. I've been doing it for so long now that
Mhm.
it just is kind of, it's not a lot. I really have some good systems in place to just kind of make things smooth.
What got you into lending?
Um, it's kind of funny. I really wanted to get into private lending, and I
Mhm.
started going down that road. And then I figured out very quickly to really scale, I had to get other people's money.
Sure.
And I just thought, I don't feel comfortable with that, right? And I just thought it would take me a very long time to ramp up and scale that. And so, since my husband is still active duty, I really thought of getting my real estate license.
Mhm.
But we could be moving every year to 2 years, and that
Yeah.
would be tough as a realtor. So that's where I got into lending because it's the other side of it, but I could do it anywhere. So, and of course, I start as a lender, and we're going to be here for another 3 years. So
Right.
it's kind of worked out. So yeah.
What was holding you back from doing the private thing and asking people for money? Was it fear of asking for money?
No, it was the fear of losing someone else's money.
That's real.
Right? Because
That's
that
real.
is raw. And I don't mind making mistakes and absorbing the risk with our own portfolio because I know that I can make it up in other ways.
Mhm.
But when you're using someone else's money, I just don't know if I could. I just yeah. I just
Yeah,
didn't.
no, it takes a mindset, right? Because
Yeah.
that is very real. It is easier for me to say, okay, this is my money. I'll recoup this somehow. I'll
Yeah.
figure that out. But yeah, if it's someone else's, you're just like, especially if you don't have that bond relationship to where,
Yeah.
they would understand, and I think a
Yeah.
lot would.
Yeah.
Um, are you guys still buying houses now? Are you guys still doing, still adding to your
Well,
portfolio?
actually, we have started investing in commercial real estate
Oh, okay.
through well, I guess you would call her, she's still a business partner of mine, but we had started a business years ago to help military families
Hmm.
purchase homes and manage their properties.
Oh, cool.
And so she broke off into the commercial side. So she's the general partner, and then we invest in her projects,
Got it.
which has been great because I've been learning through her without feeling the overwhelming sense of, am I doing this correctly? Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because she's the pro at it. And then we're also looking for another uh, property in Washington that we can acquire with an assumable loan, a VA assumable loan.
Okay.
And so that's kind of tricky. We're kind of looking for the needle in the haystack.
Okay. Washington State.
Yeah, Washington
Okay,
State.
Washington State. Okay, cool. Well, there might be someone on here that might listen.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
all this moving, all this business change, these things that are happening in your life. It's like, what are some mindset tools, maybe routines, maybe some things that kind of helped you in your times of, man, this is hard. What did you do? Like, what are some things that would help you that maybe some of our folks are kind of maybe experiencing the same things that might be an Army wife?
So I like to really play out scenarios. And it's not that I have it at a certain time, but when I acquire a property.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I think like, okay, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and then I play out different scenarios and I just kind of crunch some numbers. And again, these numbers aren't real, but they are possibilities.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, well, what does it look like if I turn it into a short-term rental? What kind of, upside potential would this property have? Or, based on the season of life that we're in, is having, a lower maintenance long-term rental the best thing for us? And what does that look like if we keep it this way for 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And I just project out numbers and run different scenarios. So when a situation does come up, I've already kind of played through some of those numbers.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what people don't do. They look at maybe one exit on a property. And I've always been in the belief, and I've always been taught that, make sure, if anything, it works as a long-term rental, right? Because if anything, the other exits are fine, but if as long as it works as a long-term rental, it could be a potentially good investment.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that I learned from my grandmother is you have to hold a property for 20 plus years to really see the benefits, from actually owning real estate. It is the long game.
Yeah.
But the thing that because I'm always tracking like, okay, what kind of appreciation have we gotten this year? How much of our mortgage have we paid down? Is this investment still making sense?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there are some years when you look at the numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, that AC and
the headaches have been more than the profits. What am I doing?
Like, wow, this year was a losing year. But you're going to have some losing years. Just if you were in the stock market, you would have some losing years. I do feel like it's a little bit more in our control for some reason. Owning real estate, that, those losing years, I do have a little bit more control over versus, if we were just, buying stocks.
See, I look at it, is it really losing years, or is it just not making as much money as the year before? Because realistically, 5 years from now, I might not have made as much money as I did in 24, but my property's worth a couple $100,000 more. So am I really losing?
And that's, so on those moments where, at the end of the year when I'm looking at, the maintenance that we've spent for that property, and I'm like, whoa, okay, so we used quite a bit of our reserves, to pay for, this maintenance. I also, to make me feel better, that's when I take a look at, okay, but look how much we paid down this mortgage. We've got a 2.75% interest rate on this property. You cannot deny that that's a huge benefit.
That's incredible.
What kind of market appreciation did we see this year?
Yeah.
Right? And so that kind of makes me feel a little bit better on some of those tight years.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but like I said, I think it's just no one really loses. So let's kind of, and I was trying to get a mindset kind of question. So, what is the reason why people just kind of sit on the sidelines? And how can?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I was just gonna say, and how can they get their butt off the couch?
So I think the best way to get off the sidelines is to buy a home as your primary residence and live in it, and do some projects on it. Because that's where the confidence comes from. And then you realize, well, I've been paying rent every month. I had to pay that on time. And I had to take care of that property to get my deposit back. It's really the same. It's just, you're paying yourself instead of paying someone else's mortgage.
Yeah.
And just, get into it as a primary residence. And then, but also when you buy, don't buy with, this is going to be my dream home. Buy something that other people are going to want to live in.
Yeah.
And that's, we look at that with every single property that we buy is not just are we going to like this property? Is it in a good area? Does it have good schools? Is it nearby things that are growing? Is it in a commute circle? But, would other people also like this house and want to rent it from us? So,
and it goes back to, I think, knowing what your exit is going to be, knowing kind of what the plan is, not, bam, I'm going to buy a house. I'll figure out in a couple of years I'm going to live in it or not live in it. But until then, I'm going to make it so I like it. No, if you're going to plan on using an investment, make it so someone else likes it.
exactly.
What are some of the trends you're starting to see, whether it's on the lending side, it's in the real estate side? What are you seeing now in the industry?
Well, we are seeing people stretching their debt to income ratios, with purchases. We are seeing a lot more investment in duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes where people are living in one unit
House hack.
and then renting out the other. Of course, because we are in this Army community, we're seeing more and more soldiers, single soldiers, buying homes and then renting out rooms. And it really is amazing because there's so many service members that instead of moving to a place and like getting an apartment, and then they know that they're going to be deploying for 6 to 9 months. So what they'll do is they will just rent a room from another soldier for 3 to 6 months. And then that way, when they're deployed for 6 to 9 months, they don't have any financial obligations.
That's
and
brilliant.
they're not leaving a place empty.
Yeah.
So it's really helping them financially.
That's brilliant. I mean, is there any type of, any quality? Do you have to be in the military to buy like a property on the military?
No, I mean, anybody can do it. And
that sounds, for me, that's like if you got someone if you have boots on the ground that can manage something like that,
yeah.
I mean, what will always be there? Soldiers.
Yes.
They're always going to come and they're always going to go.
We see this with nurses, right?
Nurses,
and,
yes.
And they put it on Furnished Finders or even just on Facebook. So yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. And that's the thing that I also tell, especially my kids, they're young adults. I tell them, live like nobody else, right? Just kind of like the Dave Ramsey thing, so that later you have you build in opportunities for yourself.
Yep.
And a lot of people think, I'm going to get my first apartment. It's going to be my own. Well, and you're gone at work all the time with an empty room. Capitalize on, that's a moneymaker.
Yeah, heck yeah.
It's a moneymaker. So rent out that room and, you don't have any weight. You're not married. You don't have kids. You can live this kind of fluid lifestyle and do it while you're young.
Right.
And then, then when, you keep those properties and then when you move out, then you move someone else into your room.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone looking to get into the game today?
That you don't have to have 20% down, right? Like a lot of people think, you have to have so much money down. But with FHA loans, even low down payment conventional loans, we've got down payment assistance programs that you can get in for zero down, seller concessions. The market has a lot more inventory on it now. So we are seeing a lot more buyers getting seller concessions to cover closing costs. And sometimes, they'll inflate their offer, to get more for, kind of seller concessions.
Right.
But I mean, I have some clients that are coming to, they're paying $1,000 to $2,000 earnest money, and we're either able to refund it with the, closing costs, or they're breaking even at, the closing table.
Sure.
So I think people have this idea that they have to have all this money saved. But the cost of waiting is great. It really is significant, and it does keep people out of the market because homes are appreciating. The national level is about 5%. So when you look at that $500,000 home, next year you're going to buy it for $525,000.
Well, what happens? Interest rates go down. What happens to prices? They go up. Prices come down. What happens to interest rates? They go up. I mean, it's a cyclical thing. Yeah. When's the best time to do anything? Yesterday. That's the best time. Right.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people say like, I'm waiting for interest rates to come down. Well, those 2% and 3% interest rates are probably never going to happen again, right? That was like a one-time bargain.
Maybe fives, somewhere in the high fives, maybe.
Yes. That would be fantastic. The other thing is people are waiting for this crash to happen, like in 2008, 9, and 10. And, so much regulation has gone into lending that, our lenders truly are qualified lenders. But the other thing people also worry about is their credit. They think, oh, my credit score is 600. I can't buy anything. Oh, yes, you can buy things at 600. So,
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I think it's just knowing that there's a lot more opportunities for lending out there. People think I have to have perfect credit and I have to have money to buy, and that's not the case.
No. Well, for folks that are out there, what's going on with your business? Do you have any coaching? Do you have any types of services that you provide? Kind of pitch your business here. Let's go.
Yeah, so I've got a few things going on. I have, ebooks that are free. One is, they're geared towards military, but they really could be used for anyone. The first book is How to Buy with the Intent to Rent, right? Because it's a different mindset. And then the second book is How are you going to manage that property yourself? And is it a good idea for you to rent it yourself? Sometimes it's not a good idea to rent it yourself. And so this book helps you determine, should I rent it myself or should I hire a property manager?
Awesome.
And then if I am going to rent it myself, how do I do this, right? And so we just share those tools.
Okay.
So those are two tools that I have available. And then I've also built out a course, for realtors to understand the VA loan and then also understand that population of home buyer. Because military families buy with a different mindset than our civilian counterparts.
Right.
And so when you understand that mindset and how to market to them and serve them, then you can just provide a better service and you're going to, have, just more clientele. So
cool.
those are kind of like the biggest tools that I use and that I share with people.
And how can people get in touch if they want to reach out to you, they want to talk to you, learn more? How do they reach out?
Sure. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn the most. And so it's just Amy Shick, and it's SHICK. If you Google me, you'll be able to find me. So,
right, yeah, it's a unique last name, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Pick one out. Well, Amy, thank you so much for coming on. This was such a great call, our great conversation. I love it.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took some good notes. And if you have any questions that you want to reach out to Amy about, we will put all her info in the show notes. And Amy, it was a pleasure. Thank you again.
Wow, likewise. Thank you so much, John.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.